Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Rangers Women's Supporters Group podcast. It's only two of us this week, as I'm Alan and I'm joined by Car. So how are you doing, Car?
Yeah, good. Good old trip up to Montrose yesterday and a good game of football, so can't complain.
Definitely not. It was a good day all round, and a weekend where Rangers have not ruined it for us. So we'll go straight into the game. Our lined up Vic returned in goals, played a back three of Leah Eddy, Laura Rafferty and Cathy Hill. Lizzie Arnott and Nick Dock were playing wing backs with a returning Kirsty McLean in midfield with Liv McLaughlin. Kirsty Howitt playing just behind Katie Wilkinson, who came back in to start alongside Rio Hardy. Were you quite happy with that, Car?
I was very happy with it. I'd say that's probably pretty close to our preferable starting 11, so couldn't be too mad about it. Good to see Vic back in goal because I was a bit concerned that we were doing the chopping and changing, and with Arsenal coming up we need to keep everyone fresh, so having Kirsty McLean back's never a bad thing. The only notable on the bench, Chelsea not there and no sign of Jodie yet, which is a bit concerning, but good that Liv and Kirsty McLean were both back.
Definitely. I'm going to assume that Chelsea's just having a wee rest. Joe's been quite clearly managing the minutes. Would you agree that's probably what it was?
I hope so, and I'd assume so with the fact that Liv was left out of the squad last week, or midweek even, I should say, and she's back this weekend. So I'm assuming that's what she's doing to give the youngsters on the bench a chance, because we can't have too many people on the bench. So I'd agree with you, that's probably what she's doing.
Obviously, after the game midweek, Joe wasn't particularly happy with performance, and everybody probably thought it was a wee bit slack, despite the fact we beat Queen's Park 9-0. What were you expecting at the start of this game?
To start a bit faster. The last couple of games, well, all three of our games really, we've started a bit slow, taking us a bit to get into it. So I was hoping for a bit of a faster start, which we did do. We started a bit sharper, a lot of chances, we were creating a lot of things. So it was good to see that the performance was a lot better than it was midweek, even if the result ended up being the same.
Yeah, it was a definite feeling that things were a lot better than they were against Queen's Park. But it took a wee while before the first goal came, and it was last year's top scorer, Rio Hardy, that got the opening goal for us.
Yeah, I mean, we created a few chances before that, just none of them went in. But then this one, well-worked goal. Kirsty Howitt kind of lays the ball off for Rio, and she does the hard work of beating two or three defenders in front of her, kind of skipping past them a little bit and then putting the ball under the goalie. So couldn't ask for much better, considering the goalie had a brilliant game. So the fact that we created so many chances and scored as many goals is a really good thing. And good to see Rio's confidence building again. Got a few goals under her belt now, so she's back, hopefully on form.
Definitely, I think it was a feature of the game, how hard Rio Hardy worked and how much she was linking up. But another feature was just how much Kirsty seems to be enjoying playing in that sort of withdrawn role behind the strikers.
Yeah, I think you can say that she's doing a lot more work than she previously was, being kind of up front, and especially if she's kind of on her own. She's been working really hard, and I think it started to pay off a little bit. The first couple of games I was a bit like, I don't know if I really like this. I don't know if it suits her, but you can see the hard work she is putting in. So if that's going to be the way they're planning on playing, I think Kirsty, besides maybe Jodie, is the perfect person to play in that role, because she does do that hard work, gets right involved, and is able to put those balls into areas for those other strikers to score. So yeah, it's definitely working out, I think, and it means that she gets game time too, because if she wasn't in that role, she probably would be on the bench quite a lot, with Wilco and Rio being the way that they are.
Definitely. I think it's always been part of Kirsty's game where she likes to drop deep and get involved, but if she's playing this role, she's not got the pressure of being getting back up the park to score the goals if she's got Rio and Katie in front of her.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely takes a bit of pressure off her shoulders, because I know sometimes she gets a bit in her head if she's not scoring, the chances that she's getting. So it takes a little bit of the pressure off of her that way, and she can just run about like mad and fly into tackles and do the stuff that she's really good at. So it was a win-win for everyone having her in that position.
Speaking of what people are really good at, the second goal came quite a common combination for us this early part of the season.
I mean, Lizzie and Wilco link up seems to be just what we're made of at the moment, and it's working exceptionally well. Lizzie did really well to keep the ball in here. I was convinced it was going out. I didn't think she was getting to it, but she's kept her fitness up this summer, and she's managed to turn on the afterburners and get it on. Another great ball into the box from Lizzie, and Katie does what Katie does and heads it kind of down the way into the goal and scores another header, and she's back off the mark yet again. So it's exactly what they both do. They're really good at it. So it's exactly what we want.
That's the benefit of recording the podcast a day later. We've actually watched the highlights and we can appreciate how hard Lizzie worked to keep that ball in. You know, where she's put it, there's no chance a keeper can come from that, and pretty much no chance Katie Wilkinson can miss that header at the back post.
She certainly can, and they pretty much did it all game, and as we'll come on to talk about it, it came off a few times, so that partnership is lethal at the moment, and it's exactly what we need. So I feel a bit bad for Jane, because once she's back fit and in the team, it's normally her and Lizzie that work quite well together, so they're going to need to figure that partnership back out if that's the way that Joe's going to play them, but certainly not mad about what they've created already this season. So
it's been proven quite difficult to stop Katie Wilkinson, but Montrose had a different approach. It brought those famous 3 words that we love so much.
I mean, certainly one way to stop us getting a goal, I suppose, is just run through the back of Katie Wilkinson, but obviously we've got a penalty on the back of it. Unfortunately, Rio's not able to score from it. The keeper does really well to actually get to it, so keeper had a blinder of a game, played really well despite how many goals we scored, but first penalty of the season took a bit longer, I suppose, than it usually does if everyone wants to buy into the conspiracy theory that we get all the penalties, but you can't be running to the back of players like that and expect that nothing will come of it, so it's just deserved, I think.
Yeah, we talk about referees a lot last year, but I think that was one of the easiest decisions our referee will have all season, was that penalty call, but I was worrying that maybe that would see Rue's confidence dip, but she kept going and didn't let that penalty miss affect her.
No, I mean, last season she scored most of the penalties she'd taken, but she did miss a couple, so I don't think she's the type of player that if she misses one, her head's going to drop and she's going to kind of give up a little bit. She seems like the kind of player that just gets on with it, so as frustrating as it maybe is, at that moment, she just digs in and keeps going like the whole team did, so can't be too mad.
We did get a third before half-time, though, so it was no surprise it was Katie again.
And who was involved? Lizzie Arnott, because that's just how things work. But again, Lizzie does really well to keep it in at the byline, plays it kind of back to Wilco, she's kind of on the edge of the box, I suppose, and she just curls it in. A spectacular goal, probably highlight of one of the ones from the game, and exactly what she does, she just sees that there's space there, she just hits it and it goes in. And honestly, I don't know how Jo does it, how she finds these players, but she's got some talent finding them, and Wilco's just absolutely phenomenal at the moment, and I hope she stays that way. But another great goal from both of them linking up well.
Definitely. I think many Rangers fans knew about Katie Wilkinson was that they'd heard that she was a record goal scorer in the English Championship, and I think we're all learning exactly why she's got that record.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all thought she would flourish up here. It's not maybe as physical of a league compared to the Championship from the games that I've watched, but she just absolutely cakewalking it at the moment. She must be thinking this is so easy. She just hits the ball and it goes in half the time. So, I mean, exceptional player. Hopefully we can keep hold of her and we'll just enjoy her for the season, because the amount of goals she scored already in only 4 games is incredible when you think about it, compared to strikers that we've had. Rio came in last season, really hit the ground running, but didn't score half of what Katie's already scored so far in the first 4 games. So it's just incredible, really.
She didn't stop it too, but did she, Car?
She never does she? This is becoming a feature of her games, is getting hat-tricks. A hat-trick of hat-tricks for her in 4 games is quite something. But Lizzie again, because that's just the way that things are going to work. She gets down the right-hand side, crosses into the box, meets Wilco at the, I don't know, whatever post it is, the back post, front post, back post probably. And she just kind of bundles it with her leg over the line. And at that point we were talking to, I think it was the groundsman from Montrose, he was having a conversation with us, so I kind of missed it. So watching it back on the highlights, it's not the prettiest of goal, but she's in that area. She puts it into the back of the net, gets her hat trick. Can't be complaining about that too much.
No, definitely not. I thought the keeper was pretty unlucky on that, but the groundsman was very friendly and had a good wee bit of banter with us, much like the stewards there. So another brilliant welcome up at Montrose. So can say good luck to them until we come to Broadwood. But Katie turned provider just shortly after. Is we really threatened to put the foot down at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good ball in from Mia. She does great work, very strong, gets the ball in. Kirsty, I think she kind of loses it a little bit, gets the ball back, and then just kind of switches it round to Wilco. I can't read my own writing here. Cuts it back to her, and she scores. That's what I've written. So I'm assuming that's what happened.
Yeah, the play that ended up leading to Katie playing the ball down the line and Kirsty managing around the keeper to end it off. So, you know, it was a good bit of composure in there. The ones that are easy for Kirsty or any of the strikers to miss when they go wide, but she finished for a really, really tight angle. So, really good to see Kirsty's confidence up.
Yeah, I remember when you're talking about now. We score that many goals, I struggled to keep track, so I had to write them all down, and then they all mesh into one. But it's very similar to when she scored probably in the midweek game, which is that very, very tight angle, but manages to put it into the bottom corner back of the net. So exactly what Kirsty needs. She's providing a lot, doing a lot of hard work. So to get on the score sheet again for her will do nothing but boost her confidence going into a very big week that we've got coming up.
But it's a wee reminder that there's more to Katie Wilkinson's games than just goals.
Certainly, she does a lot of hard work. She's always creating chances, and if she's not, she's doing that hard work. And you know, she's got a good eye for the pass. She'll always pass the ball out if it's out wide or to whoever's next to her to try and create a chance. So she's got a good all-round game, which is exactly what you want. You don't want her just being, well, I mean, I wouldn't be too mad if she was just a poacher and she just stood at the front and managed to score all the goals, but she's doing a lot of other hard work. So exactly what you need. And everyone's contributing, which is good.
And Katie was involved again in the next goal, as was Rio, who turned provider for Mia to open her scoring account for the season.
Yeah, it's good for Mia to get on the score sheet because she's been kind of creating a lot of chances. She almost scored at Aberdeen, but it came off the defender, so she's kind of already halfway there. But she's got her first goal from the season, so you can't be complaining at that. But again, really good play from Kirsty Howat. It's almost a good team goal. It comes Kirsty Howat to Wilco, and then Rio, who kind of lays it off to Mia, who just smashes it into the bottom corner. She does exactly what she needs to do, but everyone's involved a little bit, and that's the kind of goal I like. One touch passing, you don't have the shot on, so lay it off for someone else and goes into the back of the net. So exactly what you're needing, rather than us trying to walk it in half the time and, oh no, I don't want to, I'll pass it off. It's more just, it's calculated. One touch, you take it right, and in the back of the net.
And it was a debut goal, or a first goal, I should say, for Laura Rafferty next. You know, with a bullet header from yet another Lizzie Arnott delivery.
Yeah, I mean, you're the stat man, so you need to tell us how many assists Lizzie has so far, because I've lost count. I was keeping a tally, but I've stopped because I've lost track. But Lizzie, again, does really well to get the ball into the box, and Raf taking on from her former Southampton counterpart, Katie Wilkinson, and headering it into the back of the net. And I'm assuming she probably doesn't think she's going to score a lot of goals because she does very good defensive work. But she's in that area and she gets a head on it in the back of the net. So you can't be complaining about that. Exactly what you want, everyone contributing, and she's got that in her game, which is good.
Well, unless I've missed it, it's 10 assists this season in 4 games for Lizzie, plus 2 goals. So she's averaging 3 goal involvements a game, which is just ridiculous. But
I mean, it's incredible when all... Oh, sorry, Alan.
No, just keeping up to Katie Wilkinson's sort of record of goal involvements. It's just ridiculous that those numbers, and long may they continue.
I mean, exactly. You can't. It's Lizzie, and all of last season we were all giving her quite a hard shift that, oh, she's lost a yard, she's not as good as she was, and I think this season she's got a point to prove. I think a lot of them do, that they want to go on and win more this season than they did last season. So it's really incredible. But it just seems like they've got a really good partnership. All of them, they work really well together. So exactly what you want. And Lizzie's been here a few seasons now, so she knows how it works. So exactly what you want from Lizzie here.
Around about this time, we had a debut and Camille Le Fay coming off the bench. One of the subs that we'd made, obviously Tess had come on for Kirsty McLean. She was no doubt a pre-planned sub as Kirsty continued to come back. Leah Eddy went off at half-time when Mia came on, but you know, the one we were all waiting for was Camille's debut. So how do you think she did when she came on?
Yeah, I mean, she looks really sharp. We were joking at the game that she's the second coming of Messi, but we've only seen her for a few minutes, so I don't know if we can go that far. But she did look really good, technically quite gifted, quite skilled in what she was doing. She had a lot of players around her and was moving the ball really well. You know, she had a couple of shots herself. She was doing bits, so I'm really excited by her. She looks really good, and hopefully the weather doesn't put her off too much and we can see more of her in the coming weeks.
Definitely a very promising debut, and one we can look forward to hopefully seeing more of her as she gets more used to the team and more used to the league. But probably one of the best goals of the game came up next as Brogan hit the mark again.
Yeah, I mean, really good work from Ailey Austin, who had come on for Nick, I believe it was. She came on for at that point. She did really good work. Gives it to Rio. She can't really take the shot, so she kind of turns around, gives it to Brogan, who just hits it first time and it just loops over the keeper into the back of the net. I'm not doing it justice saying that, by the way. You need to go and watch this goal because it is phenomenal from Brogan. She scored already this season? Yeah.
Yeah, she scored midweek.
Yeah, I'm forgetting. We scored that many goals already, Alan. I'm getting all confused. But it's a wonderful goal from Brogan. You can see how much it meant for her and exactly what you want. People to just hit it first time, and especially against teams like this that struggle a little bit against the top teams, we should be taking these chances. So exactly what you want from Brogan, and good to Ailey got involved. It's not an assist for her, but I'm classing it as a secondary assist.
Yeah, Ailey's played in every game so far coming off the bench, and you know, again, as I said last season, Ailey looks like a first-team player. She doesn't look like a young player coming on to get some minutes. She looks like a first-team player when she plays.
She does, and she's very versatile. She can play in the back line. She can get further up and create chances like Lizzie, like Mia does. So I'm not mad about that. She doesn't look like the young team, quote unquote, because she has really settled in quite well. She's had the experience of a couple of loan spells, which I think have done wonders for her, and she just knows what Joe wants from her. So she's getting minutes in every game, which is good, and hopefully that would continue going into the season then. And she's fresh then. For if, God forbid, somebody does get injured, she can step up and fit into that role, whatever role it may be, quite comfortably. So exactly what you want to kind of balance that. She's young, she's still got some stuff to learn, but she's settled in really well. So you've got that balance there.
The scoring was finished off by another first-time finish. This time it was Tess getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, I mean, not quite the death of the game, but close enough. A minute or so before full time. Rio lays it off to Liv, who does well because she was surrounded by 3 or 4 players. Who just lays it off to Tess, and as you say, first time hits it into the bottom corner. You can ask for better from that, and we thought maybe the scoring was done. We'd kind of had a period there of a few minutes where we weren't doing much. We were creating chances. There was a few really good chances. Rio had almost an overhead kick that didn't go in, unfortunately. We were creating a lot of chances. The keeper had made a couple of really good saves, and the goalpost and the crossbar took a couple, so we thought maybe that was going to end on 8, and Demi would have been quite happy with that because she had 8 on her predictor, and then Tess steps up and makes it 9, and we were all hoping for another one because we all had 10, but wasn't to be.
Yeah, probably one of the closest goals was in the first half when we were all up cheering for Liv scoring, only to realise that one of Montrose defenders got it off the line at the last possible second. But despite the score, Montrose defended for their lives and were very well organised and a very tough sort of test to sort of breakdown. As you mentioned, the goalkeeper had a phenomenal game. And it's testament to how much harder and how much better we worked yesterday than we did midweek, that we really stepped up in the second half and punished Montrose as he tired.
Yeah, exactly what you want, because you don't want us to just sit back at 5 or 6-0 and think, well, the game's done, we'll just kind of rest a little bit. We have to keep pushing, we have to keep that goal difference up. As much as we don't want it to come to goal difference, we want it to be based on points this season. We have to just keep that freshness and sharpness almost to just create more chances, and some of them will go in, especially against a team like Montrose. The conditions weren't great. It was not as bad as midweek, I will say. It was just a little bit windy and a little bit cold, so not too bad. But Montrose are a well-organised side. It's just they don't have the budget, they don't have the players that we have, so we should be putting them to the sword like we did, and we could have scored a lot more if they weren't as defensively sound and the goalie didn't. Which our debut, by the way, is incredible work when it was her debut. It's just amazing for them, but we're here to talk about Rangers, and we did what we needed to do, could have scored a lot more, didn't, but a much better performance from midweek. So Joe's obviously gone through them and told them what they need to do, and they've stepped up and done it.
So 9-0 for a second game in a row. Who would you pick out as player of the match?
I've got about 6 names written here, and I don't know who to pick. Obviously, Wilco gets 3 goals, creates a lot of chances. Rio gets a goal and then nearly scores an overhead kick and was creating a lot of chances. Lizzie with the assist that she had. Camille had a great debut. Kathy and Raf both had really good games. Raf especially, there was a couple of moments where defensively she did a lot of good work to not keep us in the game, but she did a lot of good work to keep it tight at the back. Why we've got another clean sheet. So I'll probably just give it to Wilco because I think it's the easy option, but you could pick any of them and it could be Lev, Kath, it could be any of them, honestly. I thought everyone had a really good game.
Yeah, like you, I found it very hard to justify a pick for sort of player of the match. I thought, though, despite the fact that we won 9-0, kept a clean sheet, everything good in our game yesterday started from the work that Kathy and Raf done at the back, and you could probably draw lots to pick a winner out of the two of them for player of the match, but I'd probably lean just towards Kathy myself. I know she wasn't included in the player of the match poll, but that just shows how difficult it was to pick 4 people to put in the poll.
Yeah, and I think that'll probably continue the rest of the season if Wilco's going to continue to score hat-tricks most games, if everyone's really going to step up. Goals win you games, so it's usually that'll get picked, and especially when you're playing against the Montrose and Aberdeen, what have you, and you're keeping a clean sheet, the goalie doesn't have much to do. But just watching the highlights, you don't see the defensive work that was done, but we noticed it all game that Kathy and Raf both did really good work at the back and creating going up the field, creating things up the field. So can't be mad with anyone that's picked, really.
Definitely, and Katie Wilkinson will get most attention, but in addition to Lauren Rafferty and Leah Eddy at the back have been absolute masterstrokes at this point. Yeah,
I mean, our recruitment all summer has been really good work. I don't think there's anyone that you could say, well, that's a bit of an odd fit. I think everyone's settled in really well. Leah Eddy, hopefully she's all right. I was coming off at halftime with a little bit of a sore foot, but not injury, just something that she's got. Raf has really settled in. I mean, she was off with 2 black eyes 2 games ago, potential concussion, and she's played both games since it and doesn't look out of sorts. So she's obviously got a head made of concrete. I don't know if it was you that said that or someone around us that said that, but I think she does because she's just settled in absolutely so well. Leah Eddy knows what it's like. She's one of us. She's played with us growing up in the academy, so she knows the system and how it works, but she's settled in really well as well. And that whole back partnership, the Leah Eddy, Kathy, Nick, Lizzie, whoever's in Lizzie, I need to go to my bed. Whoever's in the backline works very well together. They're all working well together. And when Ailey comes in, she works well with them too. So it works really well, the whole recruitment. And then Camille's come in. She's only played, what did she get, 25, 30 minutes, if that?
Maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, and she's settled in really well already, looks like a really good player. So obviously our recruitment is scouting, whether that's Donald, whether it's Joe, Jay, whoever is been. It's really worked really hard this summer to get good players in, and it's working so far.
Something else that we always look to make sure is working well is loaning the young players. So it was quite a decent week for the young players. So, Summer Laird and Mia MacArthur both played from the start for Livingston. They won 3-0 against Ayr. Mia MacArthur scored, I think, her first senior goal from a corner that game. Mason stayed on the bench for Motherwell as they get soundly beaten by Hibs. Casey McKenna played 55 minutes as Spartans lost to Queen's Park, who included Millie Payton making her first senior start. So a big win for Queen's Park there, getting their first win in the top flight. So Hamilton had 3 players. Kirsten Love stayed on the bench, but Abby Tobin and Sophie Townsley both started. Sophie Townsley got a goal and an assist in a 2-0 win. So Sophie is definitely making an impact at Hamilton. And we know from previous couple of years that Hamilton is a place where our players can go and make an impact. And Maddie Maxwell scored her first senior goal, coming off the bench in the 73rd minute for Garth Cairn, and scored in the 88th minute as Garth Cairn won 7-1. So they're maybe going to start hitting some form, and if Maddie's coming on and starting to score, then it'll only be good for her. But quite good to see so many of our players actually getting game time, Car.
Yeah, the game time's the main thing, but if they're, getting their debuts, they're scoring their first senior goals, they're really getting involved in the setups that they're in, other than maybe Mason this week. But I think Motherwell know how good that she can be, so they're kind of they've got a lot of other players, but a lot of the other players getting 90 minutes or however long they're getting and scoring goals and assisting and creating things is only going to be good for their confidence and for their learning, which is exactly the point of going out on loan. So that's really good to hear. And I think Hamilton are doing really well. They're top of the table currently, I think, still unbeaten. So that's good for them. Our players are helping them in their quest for getting straight back up. Livingston will be wanting to do the same, and they'll be wanting to kind of get close to the top of their table. So that's good that our players are getting 90 minutes with them. And Motherwell, I think, are a team that are probably quite comfortable at staying up. So I think all our players involved are doing really well to help their respective teams. So exactly what they're there to do.
Definitely. I think Motherwell will be more than fine. Although I think there's going to be 5 teams giving a lot of heavy beatings to teams this season. So Motherwell might have some sort of hard yards in front of him, but I think they'll be very, very comfortable this season, and I'd be hopeful that Mason will make a big impact there.
Well, I hope so. That's what she's there to do. So hopefully she can get some more game time and show everyone how good she is, because we know how good she is, what she can do to help teams. So hopefully that's the plan moving forward.
A quick round up on the score predictor. Alan Wright moved to the top of the table, and Keith Bryce obviously won it last year. A week high of 21, so he's moved up to second place and clearly knows what he's doing on these scores. So if everybody pays attention to the Facebook group, this week's round split into 2 because there's midweek games. Dundee United play Queen's Park on Wednesday and Celtic play Hibs on Friday. So split that so that you can put your predictions in for those games, and then having up until Sunday to put your predictions in for 5 games. It'll be on Sunday. But speaking of Sunday, Car, another trip up the road to Dundee United this time. The trips are getting a wee bit shorter for these away days, but what are you expecting just a few days before a rather big game down in London?
Well, I'm hoping that maybe we'll get a bit of rotation just with that game in mind. I'm not saying rest everyone and put solely the young team in, because it seems a bit crazy, but we do need to keep in mind that we've got a big test with Arsenal coming up. So hopefully a bit of rotation there. Maybe Camille can get her first start and we can use her. If Jodie's back, give her some minutes. I'd assume Will could probably start, unless she's maybe going to rest her, and Laura Berry could get a start for a change, because Dundee United are struggling a bit this season so far already. Fair enough, they've played Celtic and Hearts, who have both absolutely hammered them. So hopefully we'll go on and do the same thing. So it's a fine balance, isn't it, of who Joe picks and rest with potential next week in mind. But we should easily be able to beat them quite comfortably with the players that we've got. Laura Berry could very easily score a few goals up there. Depends on the weather, right enough. If it's windy, that it's not a great place to be. But as you say, it's a bit further south, if you can call it that, compared to Aberdeen and Montrose. Gets them out of the way before winter, though, which is quite nice.
Definitely, and the fact that Dundee United are obviously a part-time team and they're playing on Wednesday night might help us a little bit further. So I'd like to see Katie starting and fill her boots in the first half, and then maybe get a rest second half with a couple of other players.
I mean, it'd be ideal, get the game won quite comfortably at half time and then swap out players, give them a bit of a rest with Wednesday night coming up.
Now, we will check it out later on, but last season we had to buy tickets online for the Dundee United game, so very much expect it'll be the same again. We'll check in and probably post tomorrow on the group and on Twitter as to the ticket arrangements. So keep an eye on that. But I don't think there's much else that we haven't covered, Car, unless there's anything I've forgotten.
Oh, I think that's everything.
Well, in that case, I'll be back next Sunday. You'll be back next Sunday, Car, and I'm sure Laura will also be back after the Dundee United game, and we'll hopefully see plenty of these up in Dundee. But thanks a lot, Car.
Thanks, Alan.
See you all soon.